Welcome back to Grassroots Radio on KLZ 560. I'm Andy Pate from the Party of Choice, and I didn't put that in there before.
You didn't.
I know. My wife is going to kill me. I'm here with Kris Cook, who's always here.
And I live here.
She says she's got some really weird topics to go into at the end, so you held on for the good stuff. Let's get weird. This is going to get weird.
This is going to get a little strange because, I go through the news every day. And, I clip different articles. I use a program called Evernote on my Mac to clip articles from the web. And it just organizes everything. And I have my own little system that works here. And I tag all of these articles with whatever they're about. If it's about immigration, I tag it about immigration, State of the Union, whatever. And one of my tags, because I really didn't know what to say, was, I don't even know what to say. That's the name of the tag. And so,
all right, then.
Very strange, odd things that leftists do that just, you read the article and you scratch your head and you're going, what? Seriously? What? And I've been gathering these for a while.
The entire State of the Union speech.
More or less, yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I really didn't know what to say about a lot of that, although I did spend an hour and a half not knowing what to say about it the day after the speech. Here's one for you, because I think that this is endemic to how the left thinks. Talk about controlling.
Okay.
I'm just going to read the first couple paragraphs. This is an article that came out. Actually, it came out in October, so it has been sitting in my archive for a while. When the Lawrenceville, Georgia Black Knights took on the football team from nearby Collins Hill, the young players went out to the field to win. Unfortunately for the team and its coach, however, they accomplished that goal a little too well for the enforcement arm of the governing league. Already ahead 32-0 in the fourth quarter, 8-year-old Elijah Burrell caught a pass and was able to convert it into his very first touchdown. Since the extra points violated the mercy rule imposed by the football league, the team was fined $500 and the coach was suspended.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
What do you do with something like this? I mean, what do you do with something? It's bad enough. It's bad enough that they, have a mercy rule, okay? If you don't want your kids to play and compete, then don't put them in football. That's my first thought, okay? Second problem is they actually punished the good coach. And the bad coach is still coaching. Okay? These are my first two problems with this.
Well, we should have found a way to redistribute the points. I think is probably the first way to look at it. And,
there you go.
I think this is a huge issue. This is right up there with Deflategate. I would look for the death penalty.
The death penalty?
Okay. I mean, I got to be honest, though.
1984 much?
There's a little part of me, though, that says, look, I totally agree. Okay, 100%. This is ridiculous. With
me or with them? Okay.
You. This is ridiculous. But I will say this.
Part of you. Okay.
Let me be, remember now, I was raised as a sappy liberal, so I do gotta kind of wonder, you're pouring it on when you're already up 30-something to nothing, and it's in the third.
It was his first touchdown. He's 8 years old.
I know, but I just gotta wonder about, the coach's, pregame speech. What does he say? Crush their lives, ruin their spirits, take it away from them. And by the way, at halftime, come out to the van for your shots. You see, I think the big problem that they were worried about is that the winning team, most of them had beards. And they obviously had some kind of a gross advantage, and he was doing a lot of East German stuff with these kids. No, come on. You got an 8-year-old who's catching a touchdown. You cannot tell these. I just don't think it's fair because, look, I played football when I was that age, and especially when you're in a blowout. And you got a bunch of kids on your team.
Yeah.
The ones who don't get to play, they go in the third and fourth quarter.
Sure.
And they don't want to just hand off or kneel down when they have a chance with the ball.
Right.
And I know it's crushing for the other team, but first of all, hey, we're not helping kids by teaching them there's no real world out there.
Exactly.
And secondly, the kid got his touchdown.
And then he got it. I mean, it's basically ruined for him. What a horrible thing is his first touchdown. And this is what they do to it.
Yeah, but then the kid ran off with the cheerleaders from the other side. And I mean, it got ugly. The kid, he learned a lot from TV, did this football dance, and all this. It was terrible.
And the team that lost, all of them moved to Silicon Valley, and they now own a startup, and they're worth billions of dollars. So, I mean, everything pays off.
Every millionaire was bitter as a kid. And they were bad at sports.
There is something to that, actually. I was horrible at sports. There's a reason. I
agree with you.
This entire story, I read this, and I was beyond even getting angry about it. I was just scratching my head going, really?
I just think we need to stamp out excellence wherever it rears its ugly head.
Exactly.
I mean, we've done it with the entire public education system. If a teacher does really well, they make the same amount of money as somebody. We don't want merit pay. Why have merit points?
And heck, that's what our whole economy is about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just implementing socialism to cut off any sort of success that could possibly happen. And it starts at the age of 8 on the football field.
Never too young to learn.
Absolutely.
Never too young.
Okay. Second crazy story. This one is,
oh my gosh.
I warned you about this one. I probably shouldn't have, just for the shock factor. Mount Holyoke College canceled, and it's Mount Holyoke, if you're not familiar with it, is an all-women's school. And they will no longer perform their annual production of the narcissistic celebration of female sexuality, also known as the vagina monologues, on Valentine's Day, because it fails to give a voice to women who don't have vaginas.
Okay.
Again, you look at this and you're just scratching your head going, what? What? And they're talking about transgendered women. And so they've actually canceled this tradition. This has been a tradition at Mount Holyoke that they perform and I've never seen them. I know that they played down at the DCPA, or the vagina monologues played down at the DCPA for years, and I never went.
You're kidding. I've never even heard of this.
Oh, okay.
The vagina monologues?
Monologues, not the dialogues.
You see, the vagina dialogues would be really...
Dialogues is a very, very different play.
Okay, we're not going to go there. I'm sorry.
But the vagina monologues, I mean, it's a celebration of female sexuality.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. But they've canceled it because it fails to give a voice to women who don't...
Couldn't they call it the vagina optional monologues?
There you go.
Okay, and I mean, yeah, look, I fixed this. This is what I do, folks. I fix things. Okay, so the vagina optional monologues.
He's the fixer.
I'm the fixer. This could work. Might have to change some of the wording.
Might have to.
Yeah, we're getting back to, ma'am, I'm sorry, your 8-year-old has a beard.
Yes.
And it's a girl.
It's getting weirder and weirder.
It's getting weird in here. Well, you brought it up.
I did. Oh my
gosh.
Recently, this is another story, at Dalhousie University, and this is from last week, they hosted a panel in order to better improve relations on campus to combat supposed instances of misogyny and racism. There were no men on the panel. There were black people on the panel, but there were no men on the panel. What they finally came up with as the result of this panel, in order to fix the relations, is that men should not be, white men specifically, should not be allowed to speak first in class discussions. That the professors have to call on a woman or a minority, or preferably a minority woman.
Like my marriage.
Sort of.
Okay, got it. Well, I'm well trained. This actually wouldn't bother me. This would be easy. I love you, honey.
This is how they're going to combat misogyny and racism, is by punishing white males.
Of course.
Because that's really going to fix things, right?
I didn't know when I came out of the womb what a villain I was. I wasn't aware at the time. I mean, I started to feel it when I was about 1. Okay, and then I really started to feel it when I was 2. and I was a wrecking ball. But I didn't know just how evil I was and how I was destroying everybody's life
until the left
by being
told you.
Born
right
this way.
Until the left told you how evil you were.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
So they put together, see, this is, once again, folks, classic control of the left. All they do is control. So they put together a completely biased panel.
Completely biased panel, but you're going to love this. It was headed up by Jude Ashburn, who identifies, doing the pronouns on this sentence must have been just about impossible. Okay. Who identifies as a, quote, non-binary trans person.
What? I mean, is his name put out in numbers, or I don't understand.
It's apparently a she, Jude Ashburn. She thinks black students should also be given priority when contributing to classroom discussions. You know, this is crazy. In response to an audience member who questioned the lack of diverse input, lack of diversity on the panel, surprise, surprise, Ashburn said that she is, quote, burnt out by those who believe discussions on misogyny should incorporate men.
In other words, from now on, we want to have trials, and the victim will never speak.
Exactly.
I mean, the defendant will never speak. Never again. You know, my answer to her would be very simply this. Why don't you believe in people of color and in women being able to express themselves well in a competitive environment? I do believe that they can do it well. Some of the most brilliant people I've ever known are women or people of color. It doesn't mean anything. Guess what? We all bleed red. They're brilliant. They don't need to be protected by you or by anybody else, and all this protection is really insulting them.
High five on that. Amen, brother. You just said it. I don't need to say another word. The Party of Choice. Where can people find you?
At our home. It is. Okay, never mind. Corey wouldn't like that either. Everybody come over. It's at www.thepartyofchoice.com. That's thepartyofchoice.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, pretty much everywhere.
Gmail and where?